Okay, this is happening now?
Sure. Good.
So
just make sure on on the YouTube. Over here. YouTube Studio, I can't see. 1 second. YouTube Studio.
Why are you doing that?
I'm just making sure because we're live because we may have
All right, let's forget the YouTube. Well, I guess you want to see how it works. I don't have time for the class because I have to come here. You have half an hour.
Let's see. Start recording. So I should make sure we did to yours.
Okay, no?
I'm trying to see where
Go a lot, but you're not doing that. You're not doing it. Oh,
there
there.
you go.
Oh, that's
Live.
up. Okay,
Live.
cool. All right, cool.
Live now, and then we could actually see it.
Well, I didn't see you're going to hear double noise, are you?
No, I shouldn't. Because I'll turn this off. See? There you go. Because I'll turn this off. See?
Okay, great.
Okay.
Let's go. Put this down a little bit.
And then you want to hear just what everybody is hearing.
Okay.
I would just you can take that and use it earbuds or whatever. And plug it in.
All right, earbuds.
Otherwise,
all right. Gentlemen.
We confirm that everybody hear you.
Gary and Alan, can you hear me? Could you hear me? Hello? Small detail. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh, because you put down the...
Yeah, you need earbuds.
We have?
I don't... yeah, you can use mine.
Hey, did you start the class?
Yeah, right now. I don't think there's no earbuds here. They're
Oh,
empty.
I don't know what to do with them.
All right.
You've wired?
I don't know.
Some wired.
Can we just do it without the earbuds for now? Or
yeah, they can't hear them. Also, you can hear double if you play them.
Okay. Gary, do you hear me? Thumbs up. I can't hear you because I'm doing this fancy equipment, but do you hear me? I can't hear you. Just thumbs up. Okay, good. So I can't hear you for now. Okay, how do I... Okay, so I'm sorry, everybody. This is my nephew, my techie nephew. Is you might notice the quality of recording is much better now. Thumbs up. I can't hear you because I don't have the proper earphones. So we're going to do a small class today. And what? But too much. Let's do a small class today because I am in New Jersey. I have a lot of New York errands. But we're doing Tanya for Wednesday. Chapter 2 is on page 127. Okay. Page 127. You can't? It's fine. Okay. Right. If you have any questions, you can type it only in the chat box today because unfortunately, I can't hear you. So yesterday we gave a basic rundown of what teshuvah is, what repentance is according to Judaism. And we said the main thrust of it is a regret of the sundering oneself from God through the sin and resolving not to do that again. The fasting, we said, is a side thing. It's not the main thing. It's not really repentance. It's kind of more for side reasons. What were the reasons? Either it's to avert a harsh decree, or it's to expedite the conclusion of somebody's atonement. Okay, now chapter 2. Let's go, page 128. However, all this refers to atonement and forgiveness of the sin.
There. I'm not sure.
This little thing there. you.
It shouldn't override the mic. Just make sure it doesn't.
Hello, do you hear me now, guys? You can talk now. Gary, unmute yourself, Alan. I can't hear you still, so I'm not sure what that's... Is that because...
Their audio on.
No, his audio's on.
You have to do speaker as...
External headphones?
Yeah.
The second one. Hello? Levy.
Okay, you got that? You here?
No, it's my sister's kid. Last name is Krinsky. Okay, good. So he's been researching proper recording equipment for a while, and now that I'm in New Jersey, we're testing it out. So thank you for bearing with this process while we, so we can get to prime time. All right, page 128. However, all this refers to atonement and forgiveness of the sin. The offender is meaning the fact that the teshuvah is literally something. It's a return that can take a second. The second the person's aware of their detachment from God, at least overtly, and they want to get back to being in sync, in alignment with God. That and the fact that fasting helps the atonement and all that. So once you have the offender is pardoned completely for having violated the command of the king once he has repented fully. Meaning, once you have the remorse and the resolve of the relationship with God, that was tampered with by the sin. And then you, let's say, fast, so you're expediting the atonement or whatever. No charge nor semblance of an accusation is mentioned against him on the day of judgment, so that he should be punished for his sin. God forbid, in the world to come, in his trial there, he is completely exonerated. So this is talking all this the Talmud that we quoted, and the and the Rabbi Shlomo Zalman's analysis of it. All of that is. All of that analysis is regard to reward and punishment. You're not punished. You're clean for eternity. Nonetheless, in order that he should be acceptable before God, as beloved of him, as before the sin, so that his Creator might derive delight from his service. Meaning there's cleaning up your mess that you made, the fact that you detach yourself from God, and then there's the what do you call it? But then there's to be like a pristine relationship that was pre-sin. That God should delight in you. Yeah, God should delight in you in the same way as before. It's interesting because it's hard for us to imagine, like, let's say a child rebels against the parents. So, and then they make up. They make amends. Okay, can you say there's that pure delight that you had in the child before they rebelled? No. So, but you could get back there. So in order to get back to that kind of like pristine, uncomplicated relationship with God, which in past times when we had a temple, they would bring the carbon oila, the ola offering. That was actually the function of this particular offering. It was to like I don't know what you call it. It's like get yourself back to baby, purity or something like that. Even for transgression, an ordinary positive commandment that involves no harsh, kares, excision, or capital punishment. In this spirit, our sages in Torah Kohanim, the Medrash, interpret the verse that when you bring the Olah, it shall be acceptable for him. Meaning you become back to like, purity, pure relationship. Anybody could bring an Olah. So I don't know. That's the question. How is not everybody came at once? Not everybody lived in Jerusalem, or back in those days. I don't think everybody. It's a good question. I don't think it was. They were busy, but even then, how is it possible? I don't know how that worked. I don't know. But regardless, okay. Maybe they didn't do it every day. Maybe you did it once a year. I don't think it was every second you made a lapse. You brought an Ola. Anyways, the Ola offering atones for the violation of positive commandments. It is a gift that you offer to God after you cleaned up the relationship. So it's interesting. When, let's say a spouse fights, and there's really harsh words and anger, and then they make up, okay? They really make up, and there's sorries and all that. You still, then the idea of bring a gift afterwards. Why? You made up. What's there to, why bring a gift? There was sincere makeup and everybody's happy. So they give an example, a man who displeased the king, and he appeases him through, intercessors. He gets the lobbies for forgiveness, and he's pardoned. Still, we see after all that lobbying and attaining forgiveness, he will send the gift so the king might consent that he appear before his sovereign. I mean, just because the king forgives you isn't going to punish you. Just because the king is going to punish you, take a picture. And all that, it doesn't mean that the king's inviting you to go on his golf trip. You're not his main man. You're like, okay, you're not in bad grace. You take a picture? Okay. Now it says the lashon mechaperes, the verb for atones, which the Talmud quotes from the verse, it shall be acceptable for him to atone for him. Because we said the Ola makes you get atonement, right? The term is kapara. It does not refer to the soul's atonement. Like soul's atonement is more like there's a blackness of a hole in the soul connected, whatever that means, and you fill it up and you plug it up. But now we're talking restoration, full restoration for God, so that he will bring his Creator gratification. As the Talmud teaches there, that once the person has been pardoned, then comes the gift of the Ola offering. As the verse states, it shall be perfect, so that it shall be acceptable. Today, when we have no offerings to call forth God's pleasure, fasting replaces the offering. So this is now explaining where fasting became this whole trend, according to the pious ones, in the medieval times. Why? Because we don't have a carbon oil. We don't have a temple to bring that kind of goodwill offering. What do you call it? So fasting replaces that. That's kind of the diaspora post-temple version. As the Talmud says, that when you fast, what are you doing? You're saying to God, may my loss of fat and blood, I'm denying myself the pleasure, the fat and blood that gives me a feeling of satisfiedness, of satiatedness. May it be regarded as though I had offered it to you as a sacrifice on the altar. Like you say, it's actually when you bring up, it's like the fat and blood that I'm diminishing by not eating. It's kind of like bringing the fat and blood that they brought on the altar, which was whatever that mystical thing was about. But you see a correlation. So no longer is the goat's fat and blood, it's your fat and blood. Which the goat was only meant to really represent your fat and blood, even back then. This is why there are many cases of Talmudic sages who we do see that for some trivial sin, trivial fault, they underwent a great many fasts. For example, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, a great sage, he contended that a cow may go out wearing its strap between its horns on Shabbat while his colleagues prohibited it. Once a neighbor's cow went out with its strap, and Rabbi Elazar did not protest. Because he did not support his colleague's view, he fasted so long that his teeth were black. And basically, he was the minority opinion, and he didn't protest when someone didn't go along with the majority halachic view. And because he didn't protest, he didn't say go do it, he just didn't protest. He felt that he was doing the wrong thing in God's eyes, so he fasted a lot. So too, Rabbi Yoshua once remarked, I'm ashamed. What? I think, basically it's a question of, I don't know Talmud by heart, so my guess is it was some sort of law of Shabbos that you're not allowed to have your cows do work on Shabbos. And what about clothes? So is this strap considered clothes? So it's not carrying, it's more just... Anyways, so too, Rabbi Yeshua once remarked, I'm ashamed of your words, Beis Shammai. Meaning, he said something negative about another opinion, whatever. His teeth too were turned black through fasting. Likewise, Rabbi Huna, because his tefillin strap once turned over, his tefillin, whatever, he endured 40 fasts. I don't know exactly what happened, but he felt it wasn't becoming, and he felt it was a mistake, and he was culpable, so he fasted a lot. And many examples in the Talmud like this. On this basis, that we see that fasting is kind of like a restoration gift to God of the person back to restoring to your purity. The Arizal taught his disciples, according to the principles of the Kabbalah, the number of fasts for many transgressions, even though they entail neither excision nor death by divine agency. Examples: for anger, 151 fasts. So this Arizal gave a couple of prescriptions for fasting. Anger, you got angry, 151 fasts. Oh my gosh. Even for transgressing a rabbinic prohibition, like drinking the wine of non-Jews, not idolatrous wine, but just the rabbis made a ban on any non-Jewish wine, 73 fasts. For neglecting a positive rabbinic enactment such as prayer, 61 fasts. As a general rule, the mystery of fasting is wondrously effective for the revelation of the supreme will. Similar to the Karban Oila, which we said it's an aroma pleasing to God. It's this mystery. A sacrifice brought a certain manifestation and love that God had for the Jew, for the person. Thus in Isaiah we find, you call this a fast and a day desirable to God. I don't know what the context was. In other words, it's interchangeable. An acceptable fast is a desirable day. You become desired. Desired like a child, like a baby child. Now you say, I'm so jaded and messed up, the best I can do is just not be a rebellious Jew, a disobedient Jew. No, you can actually restore yourself to that purity of a young child to God. How? So back in the day, it was the Karban Oila, and now it is the fasting. But as we will see, he does not recommend fasting nonetheless. This is just telling you in the essence of the law and the ideas. Okay. Levi. I'm not sure. I'm just going to go further. Okay, we only have a few more minutes because I have to run. But we have to do, the show must go on. So at least we'll start today's Chumash. All right, let's go. Man, bloody my phone. Levi, how do I switch? What I do is, because each class is a separate thing, I do Tanya, then I pause it, I cut the stream, and then I read. But it's too complicated. I don't have time today.
Are you gonna do that for Zoom as well?
Yeah, but not now. I think we're just gonna. No, not for Zoom. Just for the recording. Okay, let's just. Put me. Okay. Let me see how far I have to go because I have to know when I have to get out of here. Hour 48 minutes. Start. I have a half hour of dab or less. Okay. All right. We have a few minutes to.
You go to OBS. You end the stream on OBS.
Okay, not right now. I can't.
And you start a new one, and you just do different.
Tomorrow, I'll be here Friday. Maybe we could do it then. 'Cause that's my last year. All right. Let's do a few psukim, a few verses. So we got here, page 44. In the Chayenu, V'Revi, Vayishlach Yisrael Malachim. Israel then sent messengers to Sichon, Melech HaMeri Lemar, the king of Amori, saying. So we said they circumvented Edom and whatever. Now they're going near the nation Amori, the Amorites. So they sent messengers saying. Now, first of all, Rashi says Israel sent messengers. Elsewhere, the Torah attributes the sending to Moshe. It says Israel means, I don't know, the House of Representatives sent them. The people, the representatives. But elsewhere, we see in Devarim, it says, I sent messengers from the Kedemos desert. So who is it? Did Moshe send it, or was it like kind of the House of Representatives of the Jews? And similarly, we see Moshe then sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. And with Yiftach, it says Israel then sent messengers to the king of Edom. So we're seeing, you might think, oh, it's Moshe just the king, whatever. No, there is a contradiction, so we have to reconcile it. These verses complement each other. One locks and the other opens, which is a term for one verse speaks in general terms and lacks clarity, and the other one is more specific. In other words, this teaches you a very powerful thing. Moshe is Israel, and Israel is Moshe. The leader of the generation is interchangeable with the entire generation. For the Hanasi, who I'll call the leader, is all. So Moshe did it, and that's kind of the same thing as the whole people doing it. Chavbez, Ebra be'artzecha, let us pass through your land. We will not stray into any field or vineyard. We will go across the king's road until we cross over your border. Let us pass through your land. Although they were not commanded to propose peace to them, nevertheless they did seek peace from them. They didn't have to have peace. They just had to. The Amori is one of the 7 nations to be conquered. They had no obligation to make peace with them. So this is pre-going to war with them. They wanted to pass through. Okay. King Sichon did not allow Israel to pass through his territory. And Sichon gathered his whole people, and they went out towards Israel to the desert. And he came to Yahutz, and battled with Israel. Rashi. Sichon did not allow. Since all the kings of Canaan were paying him tax, he was guarding them. He was kind of their bouncer. He was guarding them that no armed forces passed through the land. So when Israel said, let me pass through, he says, wait a second, I'm the bouncer. I'm only here to keep you people out. How can you ask me this? So he went out to confront Israel. Very interesting. It says, this land of Cheshbon, even though it was full of bugs, it was a very, very hard land to conquer. And if Sichon, the king, was in a very weak village, he was a mighty king. No one could conquer him. So how much more so you have this crazy warrior in a very fortified city? So Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Mani Matriach Al Bonei Al Kol Zeh Lotzor Al Kol Yivir. So Hashem basically says, why should I make them have to lay siege? Let me just put the thought for him to come out to war, and then they'll take care of him in the open, And so let him gather all his troops to one, open area, to have a dumb idea to go to war against the Jews, and then they're gonna, and once they killed them, they felled them. Israel proceeded to the towns where there's no one to resist them, for no men were there, only women and children. Yichav Dalid, Vayakei Yisrael Ficharev, Israel executed him by the sword. Vayirish Shasar Tzim Arnan Adiyabek Ad Bnei Amoin Ki Az Gvol Bnei Amoin. So Israel, they overran his country from Arnon as far as Yabok up to the land of the children of Ammon. For the border of Ammon had remained firm. Ki Az Gvol Bnei Ammon. Rashi. So they didn't go to the next country. Why? Because God warned them, don't go there. Okay, I have to run, so I'm going to do the Dvar Torah, and we're going to end with that.
So when are you coming back to town, Rabbi?
Friday. We'll be here for Shabbos.
Okay.
Daily Parsha Insight for on page 219. So this is really, the review is a long aliyah, so good luck learning it yourself, or you can listen to Rabbi Gordon. We're going to go into the next parsha, Balak. It's a double-header this week. Balak, they were petrified of the Jewish people, Balak and Moab. Now the reality is Balak had no reason he didn't have to tell them to be afraid. He did not ask them to do anything to counter the supposed threat posed by the Jews. Basically, the Jews weren't going to fight them. But Balak said, the Jews are going to fight us, the king Balak. So they didn't have to do anything. But he could not contain himself, and he spread fear among his people, and they said, let's go hire Bilam the prophet. In contrast, although Moses was afraid of King Og, he did not disclose his fear to the people, to the Jews. He realized as a leader, if he does that, he'll weaken their morale. So instead, he worked on his own inner morale. Because of his positive attitude and trust in God, he successfully preserved the Jewish people's self-image and prior to their mission. He didn't freak them out. Moshe knew we earned God's help and intervention by trusting him to provide it. Moses set the standard of fearless behavior for all Jewish leaders to succeed in, that would follow him. We are all leaders, one degree or another, whether in the context of our jobs, families, circle of friends. We should therefore learn from Moses' example to foster others' optimism and confidence in their divine mission, rather than the opposite as did Balak. Wonderful day, all. Be well. Call Levi.
You too. Rabbi.
Bye-bye. All right, I just canceled it. I just ended the thing.
And then Zoom, and then go to OBS.
I don't know how to do that. I have to get my leaf too.
So, let's